it's Natasha and thank you so much for joining me today. Now this card today is kind of easy, kind of simple. You can do it in lots of different ways with different media, but it packs a really cool punch, adding a couple of finer details at the end. So this is my go-to kind of rainbowy-ish colors: Wilted Violet, Salty Ocean, Mowed Lawn, Mustard Seed, Spice Marmalade, and Candied Apple. These are kind of my red through purple rainbow, and I'm putting these straight down onto a non-stick sheet. This is the Tim Holtz glass mixed media mat replacement mat. So I just really like the size of this replacement mat, and it's a really good price point for a non-stick sheet, and it has silicone on the back so it doesn't slip around on my work surface. I added a little bit of water, a little spray, and I'm using some watercolor paper to pop down directly into that ink. And then you can see I got a little bit of mixing of colors, so I'm just going to gently dab it up with some paper towel. And then I got that kind of red bit across the purple, but by adding a little bit more purple ink with a paintbrush, it kind of makes it dull back down into the background, and this is just a background after all. Sometimes when you pull up these beautiful pieces of ink smushing, they end up gorgeous, and other times they need a little bit of help with a paintbrush and some more ink, and this is how it ended up drying, and I was pretty happy with how that looked. So as I said, this is just a background, and we are going to add more into the foreground. I was looking for kind of a doily die or a big large snowflake kind of die. I wanted a really bright white die cut, and I must admit this was kind of the best that I had in my stash. So this is what I'm using today because it's what I have. I'm using some Stick It adhesive. This is double-sided adhesive, very thin, which is the best when I am coming to die cutting really fine and intricate die cuts. So I'm using a little bit of low-tack tape, this is the mint tape, to line up all of my dies, because this is actually 5 separate dies. But you could also just use several little dies and kind of put them together and then die cut a circle out of that, like I did a couple of videos ago. Or if you have kind of a really nice large background die, that would work really well over top of this as well. But here is where the easy part comes in, because I can just peel off that other release side of the Stick It adhesive, and that makes life so much easier. One also really good thing about it is that it doesn't adhere down permanently until you kind of push down really hard on it. So you can see here I'm not pushing down, I'm just kind of placing everything until I know I have it where I want it to go. And then I will turn the card upside down and really put some pressure on it to make sure that everything is adhered nicely and that adhesive becomes permanent. But as I said, even though I didn't kind of have what I pictured in my mind, I still really like how this card came out. So a really nice white die cut on top of a bright background works wonders. So there's kind of that part of it. Now moving on to the sentiment, I have these alphabet dies here, and I die cut out 3 each in white thick cardstock. I think I cut this out of the 110 pound cardstock. I just keep a pottle of scraps on my desk so that when I want to die cut letters and things, I'm able to not have to start a new piece of paper or anything like that. I always cut them out of scraps. And then I also cut the same 4 letters out of some black cardstock, and that will be the very top layer. Now I like the idea that I can see the white to the side, but if you don't like that, then just cut all of the layers in the black or go around it with a nice black pen, and that way you won't see the white coming out of the side. But I liked it for today's card. Now I have the stamp set here. As I said, you've seen it a few times before, and I always stamp my sentiments out a couple of times because no doubt I will ruin one of them somewhere along the way if I only stamp out one. So I've just used the really long Tim Holtz scissors, which are great for cutting out those kind of long sentiments where I can see where the blades are going to cut. I'm adding this onto a 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch card base, and so far this card is all kind of, it's all good, it's fine, it's looking good, but there are a couple of things that we are definitely going to do that I feel like are the finishing touches that make cards. So I'm going to adhere the word hugs right down in the middle, and it's really nice and easy to tell the middle because of that die cut there that I've used. It's got a nice center point, so I can line everything up and just eyeball that it is pretty straight. And then I have got that little sentiment that will go underneath, and it says, "Thinking of you. I really like that it's a nice bright card for a hugs card. I feel like that's just like wrapping someone up in a hug, hopefully when they receive this card. And then, so here I'm going to add the other couple of things. Now, the first one is that glossy accents on the sentiment. Now, when glossy accents goes on, it goes on cloudy and it looks a little bit, you're not sure how it's going to turn out. But at the end of this video, I will show you just how the sentiment dries and looks absolutely gorgeous. It steals the show of this card, which is what I want it to do. So I've put a nice thin layer of that. It dries absolutely nice and clear. And then I'm also going to add the clear drops around the outside in a couple of different sizes. The reason I'm doing this instead of using something like Glossy Accents or Morning Dew from Nuvo Drops is because I have water reactive ink underneath with the Distress Oxides, so I don't want them to take on the colour of what's underneath them, which is what adding it straight onto the ink would do. It would pick up the colour and kind of suck up the colour and become that colour, whereas I want these to be nice clear drops. So in a second I will show you just how this looks, and it is absolutely beautiful. I'm sorry this is slightly out of focus, but thank you so much for watching today. I really look forward to seeing you in the next video, and let me know what you think of this one down below. See you next time. Thanks. Bye.